Welcome. I'm Pam Wendell, 98.5 KTIS, once again to introduce you to our Ministry of the Month for May. And you may very well be familiar with this amazing ministry, Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. And my special guest is Jen Brink-Edwards, Marketing Communications Director for Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. And I'm so excited to welcome you as our Ministry of the Month, Jen.
Thanks for having us, Pam. We're always so happy to partner with you guys.
You know, how many years has Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge been in Minnesota? I know it's a national, almost, is it international ministry?
It is. We have a global presence. We have been in Minnesota since 1985.
Okay, great. And today specifically, we're going to concentrate on the women's program. You have a men and women's program for substance abuse and treatment. And I have seen for the last 16 years that I've been at KTIS, the miracles that God works through your ministry there at Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. So tell us, maybe someone's watching, they're worried or they're sad, they've been praying for a family member, or someone themselves goes, hey, I need some treatment and this could be it. Tell us about the women's program.
Sure. So what we have found is it's harder for women to go into treatment, and there's stigmas around it. Women are afraid to leave their children. They don't want their children to go into the system, things like that. So what we try to do is meet women where they're at. So whether that means our outpatient program that has in-person or telehealth options, it also has group options and individual. Or our short-term program, which is a licensed program, and you can choose the Christian track if you choose to. Or our long-term recovery program, which is probably what we're best known for. Right now in our long-term recovery program, we have a CPS option. And that is really our way of helping women who are worried about losing their children. Often there's time limits to the amount of time you can be in treatment before losing your children. So what we try to do is shorten the time limits and help women with parenting programs and things like that to help them learn how to be a good parent, learn how to be a good mother, and really, do well in those CPS interviews when they come up during their program.
That's Jen Brink-Edwards, our Ministry of the Month, Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge, locations all over, the United States, of course, and then right here in Minnesota. And can you speak to the importance of long-term treatment? I've known and seen people in treatment for 30 days, and it seems like that's just the Band-Aid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really depends on the person and the level of use or abuse. And it depends on what they're using as well. What we've found recently is the level of drugs, the kind of drugs that people are using are a much higher level of psychosis. And so what that means is when people come into any kind of treatment program, it takes quite a while for them to actually settle down enough, and their mind to settle down, their body to settle down enough for them to get anything out of the treatment. So longer is better. Long-term is always better. You can dig further into the reasons why you have an addiction or why you started drugs or alcohol in the first place. And it teaches you and gives you the tools at the end of your program to really go out into the world and have the community around you, have the tools around you, because honestly, and I've never heard it put better than an alumni said to me, the first time I went through short term, I thought nobody else fell down, only me, right? It makes me a little emotional. He said, what I learned is in long term is everybody falls down. I just learned how to get back up again.
Oh, I love that. We're talking with Jen Brink-Edwards, our Ministry of the Month, Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. And at the core of this beautiful, beautiful organization is Christ. Talk about how important that is.
For me, and this is how I always talk about it, it is grace. At the end, at the core of addiction is shame and guilt. And the only way out of that is God's grace. I have interviewed thousands of clients over the years, and they always say the same thing. I couldn't get out of my spiral until I met Jesus.
I love that. And if you would like more information, we're going to have a link at myktis.com. But Jen, as you mentioned, you've talked to thousands of clients and you have thousands and thousands of stories. But can you just share one of life change story at Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge?
Yeah, Absolutely. I was just interviewing a woman the other day for a radio spot, actually, and she was so well spoken, and she was one of those people where you would have never expected her to have an addiction problem. She got a little bit, she went through college, she had a good job, she had a family. She got a little bit older, and the stresses of life and isolation and jobs and PTA and kids got to her. And she started using alcohol to calm herself down. And then she would get more anxious about drinking and drink more to calm herself down. So you can see how that spiral kind of happens. And I think it's very relatable. I think it happens very often in this day and age. This woman, she came into the program, she was in long-term. She spoke a lot about community living, about how she'd always tried to get rid of drinking, but she couldn't quite do it. She'd always had this 5% of control that she kept. She said when she came into the program, she finally learned she had to give it all to God. Everything she had, even that 5% that she thought she needed to hold on to, and she let it go. She's now been reunited with 2 of her kids. She has a great story about one of her children saying, "Mom, I love you, but until you stop drinking, you cannot be in my life." And she said it was the most heartbreaking thing for her. But now this daughter wants her back in her life, and she's pregnant, and now she's going to be able to be a grandmother to her daughter's first child. And she's just, I mean, when she talked about it, she was beaming, smiling, so excited about her future.
Lives changed through Christ at Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. Jen, I know you guys have a big gala coming up at the end of the month, and I know KTIS has a table there, so I'm going to be there again just to see those smiling faces. Oh, and tell us about the choir too, because I know the choir has visited many churches in the Twin Cities and in the state.
Yeah, everyone in our long-term program is part of a choir, whether they thought they could sing or not. It's a big part of their recovery. I mean, there's so much energy that goes into the worship and into the practicing. There's a lot of pieces of the choir, but there's going to be about 350 to 400 clients. And if you've never been there, sitting in that room and having all those clients standing in the front and singing and worshiping is phenomenal. It's just a great experience.
And that's coming up on the 20th, correct?
May 20th. It's at the Hilton, and we have secure ramp parking and you know, just some fun surprises that are going to happen that evening, and it's going to be a great night.
If you would like to learn more about the miracles and the treatment programs and the gala, it's all at myktis.com. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.